Welcome to the part 2 of this interview with Mike Hill.
I remember this one player came named Wing Dong Ho, and I was just like playing around like, my man Wing Dong Ho takes it down and slams it in. I just, playing around with it instead of being like, Wing Dong Ho takes it in, which I was always trying to do. And when he heard that, he's like, stop the tape. He said, Mike, do you. That's you. That's your voice. So I'm under the mindset that I had to be like a sportscaster. I had to be buttoned up. I had to be like this. I had to over-enunciate everything, and I had to talk like this. And, I was going to be like a broadcaster, and I'm not going to be Mike Hill. And then I realized that Mike Hill's voice is what people really want to hear because that's authentic. And that not only changed my life when it came to my professional life, but my personal life. Because I realized that no matter what image you got to put out there, what you feel like you need to do, authenticity will always win. Regardless if people like you or hate you, you're being authentic, you're always going to win. My stepfather only told me he loved me one time. Two times. One time my mom was about to leave him. She was about to leave him. We was leaving, and I think it was a manipulation tactic, to be quite honest with you, because I was so young and she had gotten tired of getting beaten. And we're leaving the house, and she's like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And she's taking me, and I'm there. And he comes in, well, man, I guess I won't see you ever again. Like, I'm 19 years old. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, this is the only daddy I know, right? I'll never see you again. And, take care of yourself, man. I love you, man. Like, and I'm like crying, right? And we leave, and even that, like my mom, which was part of my trauma too, my mom like, well, I tried to leave, but you was crying. I'm like, I'm 10, I don't know. Like, she used that against me when I was an adult. And I'm like, damn, ma, like I was 10. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, I'm crying because I don't know where we going to go.
Yeah.
What we going to do. And then the only other time he ever said he loved me was, I remember there was a PSA, a commercial that came on from the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints. Have you hugged your child today? And that came on the air, and I remember my mom in the other room saying something, and I didn't hear everything they were saying, but she said, and all of a sudden, it's like, Michael, come here. So I walk in the room, he's like, give me a hug. And give me a hug. You're like, well, you know I love you, right? I'm like, yeah. Okay, all right, yeah. And that was it. That's it. So I never saw love, never saw affection. I never saw like holding hands. I didn't, man, like, and once again, my environment is not an excuse for what I did, but there are reasons for why I didn't know how. I didn't know how to be a father. I tell people that all the time. I didn't know. I had to learn how to be a good dad. I thought being a good dad was like, okay, I'm gonna make a lot of money and I'm gonna make sure they got everything they need and everything they want. Cause I know when I'm a child, man, my dad, what I want my parents to be is like, give me a great house, buy me all these toys, buy me all these nice new clothes and everything like that. That's what I want because, well, the love wasn't there. I didn't see it. My mom loved me, don't get me wrong, but I didn't see it from my dad. So I felt like, okay, well, shit, if I had a better dad that actually provided stuff for me, you ain't got to tell me you love me because you got me the brand new sneakers, new clothes, or the brand new toy, whatever, a new car, new whip or whatever and stuff like that. That's what I wanted at that particular time. I didn't even realize I was missing the love until I got older.
The healthy
environment, the like you said, the affection, just being there and seeing that and letting that seep into me. Everything that we go through in our childhood, we take into our adulthood.
That is true. As you transition into fatherhood, how are some ways, because you've identified what could be a generational curse, the trauma. What are some ways you show up in fatherhood to prevent that and to break that cycle?
I tell my daughters all the time how much I love them. I tell them all that, man, my daughters are my world. My daughters they're my world. They're the only thing that I can't live without. I can't live without my daughters, man. Like that right there, I can't live without my daughters. Like something happened to my daughters, man. Please take me off this earth. I don't ever want to see anything happen to my daughters. And like I said, I had to learn how to be a good father because for a lot of reasons. Well, the things I was telling you about, man, I was just never taught things, but I wanted to provide for them. I always gave them what they needed when it came monetarily, when it came to wanting things and if they needed things. But I had to learn how to be affectionate. I had to learn how to be like, I love them, but how do I love them? I had to learn how to love them. And that was different. I know I had nothing but deep, unadulterated, like I will kill you love for my daughters. I will die, lay down on my sword. I will just torture me before you take a hair off my daughters. I don't care. Don't touch them. But I didn't know how to love them. And there's a difference. You know what I mean? I didn't know, hey, my time is valuable. Me coming to see them, not just having them around me, but actually spending time with me. Let's talk. Giving them the outlet and the open door that, hey, you can talk to me about anything. You know what I mean? I'm here to listen. Hearing them and listening to them. And they're individuals. They're my daughters, but they're individuals, and they're different. So I had to learn how to, okay, this one over here likes this, and she's a little bit more sensitive than this one, but this person wants to be heard. She's quieter, but she's smarter. She's deeper. Not smarter, but deeper when it comes to that type of thing. So I had to learn how to interact with them. I was like, man, okay, all right, girl, okay, what? That ain't nothing. I had to learn how, okay, yeah, I'm listening to you. Or if I said something, I ain't mean it that way, gaslighting them, I had to learn how to say, okay, I am sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I made you feel this. And I did the same thing in relationships with women, period. I had to learn how to do that. But with my daughters, man, I had to break that generational curse. I had to be everything that I said I was going to be growing up, which was like, I'm going to always give them what they want and what they need. But on top of that, when I became a good father is when I started listening. And that's what I had to learn how to do. So when I say I had to learn how to be a good father, the main thing wasn't not that I wasn't there for them, that I was a deadbeat dad, because I've always been in their lives.
Definitely.
But showing up the way they need me to show up. That's what made me a better father. And to this day, every day, how you guys doing? Love you. Group text. We got this text thread called OG Trio. I don't know, my daughter made that up. OG Trio. And this morning, I just want to say, I love you. Let's have a great week. It's going to be a great week. Well, my daughter started to text her at this. I said, and I just saw them last week for Mother's Day, and we went to surprise my grandmother, but they're my hearts, man. They're my hearts. And I want to make sure that when they have kids that, hey, they pass that down. So I want to give them the things that I didn't receive. So now between me and their moms, look, there's no excuse for them to not be good parents.
That is one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced in life. It's very powerful, that love between a father and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And just experiencing it as a daughter myself, but just to see that bond, that love, that protection, that desire to want to be a better person, to show up differently. I see that in my own household with my husband and his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing how daughters just have that just soft spot in their father's heart.
Yep.
And that desire to want to protect. And I wish it was innate for all men.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah.
And it destroys, a young woman's like journey and the way she presents and have self-respect, because the lack of self-respect and love from, her father. But it's powerful. I could just see how when you watch this, your emotion and just all the love and that expression of love that, that you were able to portray and just like convey. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was beautiful.
That's how you get to me. And I hate to reveal any weaknesses or whatever, but that's how you get to me. That I don't even respond a lot of times to trolls on social media. But if you say something about my daughter, man, I'm jumping in your DMs and letting you know right now, I'm so super protective of them. And now they've moved on, they got boyfriends. And so how I show up for them, because I was their first male figure, and I had to realize that, like, man, one day, and it also helped me when it came to me overcoming the things that I used to do, not only learning, but now I got daughters. Now, would I want men to treat my daughters the way I treated some women? I was always a good person, always nice and there and whatnot, but I don't want to hurt them in any kind of way. And I don't want any man to hurt them in any kind of way. So now that they're in relationships themselves, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on pins and needles because I'm like, God, I'm like, please. And I don't really necessarily believe too much in karma, but I'm like, man, that's the only thing that could hurt me. And I've never been hurt before like that ever since that girl told me at 15 years old that she made it seem like I farted in her mouth or whatever. Like that's the only time I've ever been really pierced. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, man, if somebody hurts my daughters, that's going to hurt me. Yeah. And is it going to be because of what I've done in the past? And so I ask God every day, please just protect them. And I know they got to go through their circumstances and things like that, man, but I don't want to be responsible for that. So please take my sins away from their lives in any kind of way. Put it on me I just don't want to see them hurt at all, man.
So you've gone through this journey of discovery. You've had self-reflection. You've dealt with painful experiences. How important is having love and compatibility in a marriage? Because you were previously married to Cynthia from Real Housewives.
Right, yeah. I've been married 3 times. So I try. I was married to each of my daughter's mothers. And the one with Cynthia didn't last that long, 2 years. But yeah, the reason we got a divorce was the compatibility thing. It was, you think you're compatible until you start living together. Because we had a long distance relationship, and then all of a sudden you learn, okay, well, I didn't know that about you. And both of us, so it was on both parts. So it had nothing to do anything malicious or bad, or anybody did anything wrong. It was just like, okay, well, things we just didn't know about each other. And I'm not saying we rushed into anything, because we didn't, but it's a difference when you actually are around somebody 24/7 and living in that environment, and you living in that space or whatever. And so that's what happened. But so it's very important. It's very important to have that compatibility, same mindset, to be aligned, to be equally yoked, to be healed. Very important to be healed, because if you're in a relationship with somebody, not some people, so when you say completely whole, I don't think anybody's ever completely whole, because we'll never be 1000% perfect, but you got to be as whole as you possibly can, to the point where somebody isn't supplementing what you're missing. Because then all of a sudden they take that away. They can be 95%, they can do 95% good, but they take away that 5% of what you're missing in your life. And all of a sudden it's like, forget about that 95% that they're giving you. They only care about that 5% that you're not giving them. And it could destroy relationships. And it's happened to me before. So if you're not completely healed, that's why I always say, like, if you're with me, hey, I've gone through therapy. And I might not presently in therapy, because, like you go to therapy, go to spurts. But you have to have had some form of therapy to address you, and not us, you, to find out what's going on with you, so that you're not missing anything. So, and the alignment doesn't have to be totally aligned, but you got to be aligned in certain standpoints of things that are super important for you. And to this day, I still experience that. Like my girlfriend now, like we have things where we're aligned in a lot of ways, and my mindset is one way and her mindset is another, and we discuss it. And we have, sometimes heated discussions about those types of things, because it's like, okay, well, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the way you think. And so that is something that has to be addressed in relationships. Because
you did previously say that the lack of communication could damage a relationship.
Absolutely.
So just being able to, but you do have to have that compatibility, because you can love someone and completely not be in alignment, like you said, evenly yoked, and just like not having those same goals. And I feel like there's a balance in a relationship, right? Someone might be stronger financially. Someone might be stronger with prioritizing your life goals, the whatever it is. So there's always balance,
right?
Good communication. There's many reasons why a marriage can fall apart, And people tend not to be able to see what's happening behind closed doors. Like, you can put in all the work every day. People don't really realize how much work it takes to keep a marriage going. And sometimes they might try to think negatively about you being married previously. I myself have been divorced, and I don't care what, because you really fight. You put in a good fight, and people don't really see that. But it is important to also be compatible.
Absolutely.
And I could understand if you're in a long distance relationship and then connecting and seeing the day-to-day routine that you previously otherwise would not have. So that's another, eye opener for you.
And then dealing with certain things and issues that weren't necessarily an issue outside the relationship before, where it could be work issues. It could be some things like you could be in and not knowing how to deal with it because you've never had to deal with it while you've been in a relationship, and how people react to certain things from a professional level. You know what I mean? So personally, yes, living together, how you live, space, clutter, all that type of stuff like that. How do you argue with one another? Like, it's okay. You're going to argue. You're going to have disagreements, but how do you argue? How low do you go? If somebody goes low, and I've had to get it out of the mindset that if you go low, I'm a dig a grave. I'm trying to be the more like Michelle Obama approach used to be.
So wait, I do not argue.
Good.
And I know that probably.
Oh my gosh, there is one. Oh my God.
No. And it probably sounds surprising.
Oh,
but
man.
I do not argue.
Wow, where's that gene come from? You need to sell that in stores.
So I had to develop that and realizing through a divorce. But what you bring in certain skills from your previous relationships, right? You leave horrible things and then you pull in those healthy, experiences and skills and tools. And I learned that the trauma that I've had in life, I would never want to bring that into a healthy relationship. I do not argue. My husband does not argue.
Awesome.
Do we have a disagreement?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're human.
Oh,
We're
my
going
gosh.
to see things differently.
Yes.
But I can tell you out of 10 years, we've had one heated conversation, but we do not argue.
My God.
It's possible.
My God. I know it's possible. And I know it's possible because I don't like to argue. I don't like conflict. I'm a person that I sometimes walk on eggshells because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I bring this up, and I'm transparent, super transparent. And there might be times I'm like, I want to say this, but I know where that person's mind is going to go, and that energy is going to shift, and there's going to be something where, that takes me somewhere. And like I said, I'm still working on myself. So I'll never put my hands on a woman or anything like that. But there is that when you come for me hard, when you come for me and you start talking to me like you're a dude, and you want to it's almost like you want to buck up and you want to be my enemy. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's certain things that like, this doesn't hurt me. Somebody tapped me like this. But if you tap me like this 1,000 times over and 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 over again, I'm like, okay, stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a progression because now you irritate me. And then when I go there, then all of a sudden that person, why are you so angry? I'm like, you need to calm down. Like, what? So you have gone into this forest, lit a match, threw some gasoline on it, and you want to call me the arsonist? like
Definitely.
You want to call me and so I've had to learn that in those type of situations that, okay, that's exactly what that person wants you to do. So I have had to learn to try and take that approach and not allow, I have a name for the person that comes out of me when I'm upset.
What is that name?
You're family friendly. It's the N word. That N word, because that comes out of me. Like, mild-mannered. You can ask anybody around me. I don't like to yell and scream or whatever, but when you push me to a point, you put me in a corner, like I said, you mess with my daughters or whatnot, or my family, my money, or anything like that, or you just keep on pushing me and I'm like, I'm telling you, please stop this talk. There is a There's that you, and there are only a couple of people that have been able to do that. Like I have, through therapy, I have been able to bury that N-word 20 stories down in a vault with a 10-digit and character combination. Zzz, do all that stuff like that, leave it there, go back up the floors, and there are certain people in my life that's been able to find that vault.
Don't say that.
And unleash it.
How do you deal with that? Because there has to be a point where you protect your peace. And
I get away from it.
You can cut off people regardless of who they are. And you can only give them a certain access to you. Are you doing that?
Yeah, I get it. That's
okay, because that's unhealthy, and we're not having that. We're having peace.
I know, and so the thing is, and see, I don't want to give away too much, but like there are,
I know.
I don't want to start the shit because here's the thing.
Thrive off of dysfunction.
Yeah,
I know that.
I can't thrive off dysfunction. I can't thrive off bad energy.
Some people
I can't,
do.
And I know. And some people do. Some people need it in their lives.
They do.
I've been with people who actually need it in their lives. It's almost like you want to argue, and I don't want to argue with you. You won't feel alive.
Love.
Yep.
From the dysfunction because that's what they were exposed to.
That doesn't work for me, and I can't do it. It's not. I have to protect my peace. I got to a point when after therapy that I protected my peace. So if you've ever heard me breaking up with anybody, I protected my peace. I'll just leave it at that. And I will go through hell and high water. I will take on, when I got divorced the last time, I got dragged because everybody just thought that I did something wrong.
You're in the public eye.
I know, but I understand, but I got dragged because everybody just assumed that it was something I did wrong. No. I was protecting my peace, and you might ask her, she might say she was protecting hers. So I had to protect it. So I would much rather be alone than be in a situation where peace is being disrupted on a continuous basis or something that you just feel like you can't work out. Like I said, and I don't, like you said, I don't want to argue, but if we're going to have a disagreement, or even if we got to learn how to talk to one another. And there are certain ways when people, and if I tell you, and this is what I learned from therapy, if I tell you that I don't like when people talk to me a certain way or say certain things to me, please honor that, because I'll do the same thing. If you don't like certain things about me that I've gotten used to because that's the way I used to do things, if I choose to be with you, I will have to honor that. And if we can't do that, then we can't be together. I don't care who it is, and not just in a romantic relationship. I'm talking about friendly too. I mean, I've gotten to the point where back in the day, my daughters was going through a period of thing. I'm like, you're 18 now, and I love you to death, and I'll always be here for you, and I will fight for you to the end, and but if you're 18 and you feel like this or whatever, and you still got to bring that to me, I can't have it around me. As much as I love you, my mom told the same thing. As much as I love you, I cannot deal with that because I'm not going to kill myself when it comes to my mental health and keeping things in, but I'm not going to allow anybody else to do it either.
You deserve that, and you're healing. You're healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lifelong journey.
Yes.
Everything that you've been through, you are forever healing. You are forever working on yourself. Like, I think people go to the gym and they feel like they're fit, but you don't stop going to the gym.
No.
And that's how people deal with mental health. They feel like they feel like they have a fix, but it's a lifelong, and you deserve to set those boundaries.
Right.
I do it all the time. I mean, I've learned, I'm like the master of it. I know how to protect my peace, and I take pride in it.
Yes. If it costs me my peace, it's too expensive.
It definitely is.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's transition to what's hype about health.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you were able to walk us down that journey of your beginnings, your humble beginnings, and how you found strength into accessing resources and how you're maintaining that and you're setting boundaries. I feel like you've have some like really positive tools. I love the way you've conveyed that love and that relationship that you have for your daughters. let's talk about health. Mental health is a part of health, although people think about physical and eating and exercise and movement. But let's talk about that, because within the African American community, there's a high risk of cardiovascular disease. There's a high risk of, knowledge deficits, especially Black men being diagnosed with prostate cancer. I
Yep.
just did a conversation, well, not just, but recently did a conversation with Richard Lawson because he wanted to utilize his platform to speak about prostate cancer. So many men aren't getting prostate checks, and they're so, I heard that. And there are so many issues with the knowledge deficits in regards to colonoscopies and prostate exams and people not really knowing the difference. But what are some ways that you think that we can encourage our people within our community to access the doctor? Because there's about a 24% difference in men not accessing healthcare opposed to women. And that's only in general. It's even more so with people of, disparities, diverse backgrounds,
Yeah,
I should say.
absolutely. And like you said, Black men, just like we want to go see mental health, we don't go
Is
to the
it
doctor.
trust? Is it trust?
It's a lot of it is
I'm a nurse
trust.
practitioner. You
I
don't
know,
trust me. Would you trust me?
But see, I also think that's important too. Like, I think you need to go to I think you need to go see a Black doctor, because a lot of times it's like you got to advocate for yourself first and foremost, regardless of what doctor you go to. But I also believe that you have to go somewhere where you can trust. Because my mom is 70-some years old. She is going to the doctor, even though she needs to go to the doctor a lot, because you're like, they're trying to kill me. They don't care about us old people. It's like all that those wives tales you hear, and like even when it was COVID or whatever, it's like they don't know what's in my, I ain't putting that in my vein or whatever and stuff like that. I understand that was a pandemic or whatever, but that same person be like, man, you got give me some of that blunt. You know what I'm saying? You'll smoke some weed from somebody that you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Or that's the type of thing, the mentality that we have a lot of times in our community. It's like, you won't do this that will save your life because somebody in the government or a doctor is telling you that you need to do it because you heard some old wives' tale or some conspiracy theory that they're trying to kill us, which, yes, they do have a past. And I can admit that. I was in a play called Miss Evers' Boys. So I know exactly, Miss Evers' Boys about when they gave us syphilis and everything.
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee experiment. And so I understand where that comes from, but we have to get to a point where we can trust the people who are here to help enhance and save our lives. We have got to get to the point to find someone, talk to somebody who has a good doctor, who has had nothing but great experiences with their doctors or nurse practitioners or the physicians or whatever, or surgeons and all that. We got so much at our disposal when it comes to like the internet and looking up and doing reviews. I mean, y'all get Google reviews just like, Denny's does or McDonald's does or whatever. You get reviews just like any restaurant does. So do that type of background. But don't be afraid to go and get a checkup. Like, Black men, I'm going to stand up. So I got a joke about how Black men are afraid to go to the doctor because they're afraid of getting the finger stuck in their butt, right? And I was like, well, here's some good news. You no longer really have to get your finger stuck in your butt anymore unless you have like a susceptible being some kind of prostate cancer or whatever. They have blood work for that. And then my joke goes, so if your doctor's is still putting his finger in your butt, he ain't checking for cancer, he checking for compatibility. That's just a joke.
It better be.
That's just a joke. But go get it. So what I'm saying, so that was part of my, but at the same time, yes, prostate exams, go get your colonoscopy done when you get a certain age or whatever, man, get checked, especially if your family has a history of it. Go to when you feel bad, man, especially if you got health insurance, or find ways to go get free healthcare in some kind of way, and that's also an issue there. But to promote not just physical health, but not just your physical health when it comes to your insides, but on the outside too. We have to do a better job of taking care of ourselves, because as Black people, we may not look old, but on the inside, a lot of old stuff is going on. So you can look like you be 50 or 60 years old, look like you're 30, and then all of a sudden you're dead. And then people say, oh, he looks so great, looks so healthy, because you're not taking care of what's on the inside. Yeah. And a lot of times, if you're not taking care of what's on the inside, this is not going to look great. It's not going to show. Like I always say, black don't crack, but it will swell. You will get big. You know what I mean? So I say when people ask me about, like, I'm 55, I'll be 56 this year. I'm like, okay, well, how do you look so young? I'm like, well, happiness, first of all, because I stay away from stressful things, hydration, drinking a lot of water, and I go to the gym. I have to go. And if you don't go to the gym, do some form of exercise, walk, do some push-ups, some sit-ups or whatever, but stay active in some kind of way because like you said, we are more susceptible to like high blood pressure, diabetes or whatever because of everything. Our diet is really important. So I am starting a campaign. So I'm glad you even asked about this.
Yeah, let's talk
I'm
about
actually
it.
starting a campaign called Fitty 50, FITTY, FIFTY, Fitty 50. And it is a campaign to encourage people over the age of 50 to take better care of their mental, their emotional, and their emotional health. So your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. And with the 50-50, obviously, like going 50-50 with somebody, you have a partner that also holds you accountable for something like that. So I'm going to start this campaign. This is the first time we're actually talking about it. I'm going to start this campaign in August on my 56th birthday.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce it. So you're getting exclusive here. And we're going to push it out there, man. Hopefully it becomes like this big national campaign that everybody jumps on board.
Please keep me updated so we can continue to push it and support it.
Well, I appreciate it. I definitely will.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's about sometimes it could be the trust factor.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's one thing. And then the lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
But this campaign can also help encourage that, the accountability partner. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we'll have resources from people, doctors, and we'll address some of these issues because life doesn't end when what's old? When people say you're old, like I cringe at it. First of all, I'm happy that I'm as old as I am. I'm blessed every day I live. Like you better hope if you're in your 30s, you better hope that you get to live my age, and you better hope that you look like me. Or look like somebody that is in their 50s that look, that's been taking care of themselves. And I'm not bragging on myself, don't get me wrong, but somebody that is taking care of themselves. You better hope. And if you're in your 30s and you look like we could have gone to high school together, you can't call me old because you look old. You look my age. You know what I mean? You can't even call me Unc because you ain't taking care of yourself in your 30s. And if you can't do the things I'm doing physically in your 30s,
It's a problem.
might not want to call me old, right? So the reason why I'm saying 50, life begins to me at 50. And age is relative, man. It's like you know everything that you should know everything that you need to know about life at 50. You should have all the knowledge to be better prepared for these, hopefully, 20, 30, 40 years that you got left, right? So these should be the best years of your life based on the knowledge that you have. But you also have to be emotionally in tune to be ready to deal with everything that's going on and physically ready to deal with it because you want to live your life and be able to get out and enjoy it. So all those things are encompassed, man, with one another. So yeah, I'm grateful to be where I am right now in my mid-50s. And because I feel like the best 20, 30 years of my life, or what I have left, are going to be the best years of my life.
There you go. Manifest.
I mean, they will
and
be.
do the work.
Yeah, do the work. Absolutely.
So if someone's watching this and, they're apprehensive about going to the doctor or accessing mental health, what would you say to them right now?
Wake up. Because if you don't, one day you won't. Simple as that. Wake up. Because if you don't, one day you won't. Man, I'm telling you, your mental health has a lot to do with your physical and your emotional being. Like I said, whether you do it yourself or life takes you out, or if your mental health has something to do with how you eat, all of that is so important to take care of this. The brain, you just talked about manifesting. Speaking, it has to start here and it comes out of your mouth. But if it's here, everything else goes to your body because you have the mindset. You have the fortitude, the encouragement, the knowledge to take care of yourself, to make sure that you're living that best life, to make sure that you're getting up and you got the courage or whatever you want to call it, or the foresight to go out there and make your life better. It starts right here. but you got to condition this. Just like you said, going to the gym, I can get a bicep. I can be a skinny dude and go get a bicep. I go do all my arm curls for the next 3 months and get that muscle. This muscle needs work too.
There you go.
That muscle needs the most work, because without this muscle, guess what? This ain't gonna grow, because I need this in order for me to have the discipline, the encouragement, the mindset to go in there and say, I'm about to take care of this. That starts here. And people don't understand that.
That's
so when
true.
it comes to your life, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your family, like everything starts here. So take care of that. And then going to the doctor, man, it's like, God, okay, I can have the great mind and that mindset, but if you ain't going to check to see what's going on with you, because you might have a predisposed conditions.
Conditions.
Something, you ain't getting checked up. Or we know how, unfortunately, cancer still runs ravenous throughout everybody's community or whatever. So if you ain't going to get checked up because, you got this little mole here and everything, oh, this doesn't bother me or whatever, but you need to go get checked up, because that mole becomes stage 4 cancer all of a sudden. You definitely got all those things, man. It's just important. So please wake up, because if you don't, one day you won't.
That's exactly what we're trying to encourage. We're trying to encourage the mindset, changing the mindset, especially within the community. So just like building that, enhancing the education in regards to the chronic conditions. And like you said, there's predisposed factors that you could have, but you can get genetic testing. People don't think about that. Especially if there's like seizure disorders, anything like that. There's so much technology out now that people can access, but they don't even know the questions to ask to help advocate for themselves. So it's important to have these conversations. And stress is also a number one of the high killers in health, because that's one of the ones that's silent, people don't see. And it elevates that cortisol level, which kind of just plummets everything else. And
so cortisol kills you and everything, like even your gut, everything. Oh my God.
Gut health is a completely different conversation, because people don't realize, and obviously all of the chemicals that are in the food. So you have to be intentional about how you're treating your body, how you're showing up for yourself, going to get your annual exams, being intentional.
Absolutely.
So changing your mindset. So I'm glad that you are able to help push that that message out, and you're going to do it on a broader level, even in August. So we're looking forward to that too.
Awesome.
But before we let you go, we're going to do something fun, but I have to ask you a little bit about your journey and your career. I want to know, did you have like a mentor in your career that was like a life changer for you, or just opened the doors for you that completely changed your life? I can't let you leave here without asking you that.
Oh yeah, I had two that I can think of. I had this guy named Michael Hill. He happened to have my same name. He was a broadcaster, worked at a local ABC affiliate when I was in Alabama, and I knew I wanted to be on television, but I didn't know what capacity I wanted to be an actor. And I see him on the news, and his name was Michael Hill, and he was a black man. And I'm like, wow, what's that? Who is he? And then ironically, I ended up, my first wife is his niece. Didn't know when I first met her at all. When I met her, she's like, oh, I got an uncle named Michael. I'm like, okay, his last name's Hill too. I'm like, okay. And still didn't put 2 and 2 together. And like, yeah, I'm like, what? The guy that was in Birmingham? Yeah, because he was in Hartford at the time. I'm like, wow. So I had no idea. So he became an integral part of my life. And even at a young age, when I was in Alabama and still learning how to put sentences together, because I could not enunciate everything. Coming from New York to Alabama, I had to learn how to speak all over again. He was encouraging and said that, yeah, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. So he was one. And there was a guy named Bruce Cunningham in Baltimore, my first internship when I was in the military. And he is the one that helped me to discover my voice, because he was a white dude, but he was like so cool. And he always gave me opportunities to write, to anchor, positive feedback. He told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. But I remember one time which changed my whole life and perspective. And I know I wouldn't be the broadcaster I am today without that moment. We do these tapes that we do sitting at the anchor desk, just practicing around or whatever. And I would show it to him. And one day when I was doing the tape, I was just playing around, just playing and I remember it was the U.S. playing the Chinese basketball team. And I remember this one player named Wing Dong Ho. And I was just playing around my man Wing Dong Ho takes it down and slams it in. I just, playing around with it instead of being Wing Dong Ho takes it in, which I was always trying to do. And when he heard that, he's like, stop the tape. He said, Mike, do you. That's you. That's your voice. So I'm under the mindset that I had to be like a sportscaster. I had to be buttoned up. I had to be like this. I had to over-enunciate everything, and I had to talk like this. And, I was going to be like the broadcaster, and I'm not going to be Mike Hill. And then I realized that Mike Hill's voice is what people really want to hear because that's authentic. And that not only changed my life when it came to my professional life, but my personal life, because I realized that no matter what image you got to put out there, what you feel like you need to do, authenticity will always win. Regardless if people like you or hate you, you're being authentic, you're always going to win. They can say, I don't like that, but he's real. He's real. He's real. And one thing about me is I may come across sometimes as buttoned up or whatever, man, but one thing I'm real. Everything I say is real. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff like that. I'm going to be totally real. And I learned that people are authentic. So I'm not hiding behind no image or nothing like that. I can't do it. That ain't me. That ain't what Mike, and I don't want to use myself in third person, but that's not what Mike wants to do. Mike got to be real.
And on your journey in the that sector, right? Broadcasting, entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever admired someone and then once you've met them, you had a bad experience?
Yeah, I mean, several people that a lot of people wouldn't know. I remember there was a golfer. So Jack Nicklaus. He wasn't that nice. And growing up before Tiger Woods,
you admired him.
I liked him as a golfer. I thought highly of him.
Yeah.
There have been people, but for the most part, most guys have been super. I will tell you this one story about Reggie Jackson. Me and Reggie became cool, but Reggie Jackson was a baseball player for the Yankees back in the day. I grew up in when I was in the Bronx, Yankee Stadium right across the street from my house. So my apartment, diehard Yankee fan. Reggie Jackson, number 44, loved Mr. October. That was my guy. I love this guy. And I finally got a chance to meet him. It was my childhood idol. Finally got a chance to meet him when I was a broadcaster. The Yankees were playing the Mets in the World Series. I'm covering the World Series. And Reggie Jackson's over by the dugout. And I walk up to him and I'm like, I don't even call him Reggie. I'm like, Mr. Jackson, I'm a broadcaster, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, I just want to let you know that you were my childhood idol. It's such a pleasure to meet you. And he looks at me, he's like, I know it's your pleasure to meet me. But that was Reggie. That's Reggie. Reggie's the cockiest guy you'll ever meet. But he eventually shook my hand, but it just threw me off for a second. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. It threw me off. So yeah, I mean, I've run into some dicks along the way. But ironically, the ones they became cool with me. Keyshawn Johnson was one of those people too. First met Keyshawn in Dallas. He had just signed with the Cowboys. I'm leaving Dallas. I'm about to go to ESPN. I just got a job at ESPN. And I knew I was my last week there. It was a training camp and mini camp. And Keyshawn was the new receiver for the Cowboys. You know Keyshawn, right? So Keyshawn, I come up to Keyshawn and I'm like, hey man, I'm Mike Hill. And I extend my hand. He looked at me, he's like, I ain't got to shake your hand. And I was like, you know what? And I'll never offer it again. And that was me being a little cocky or whatever. I said, I'll never offer it, but it was offsetting. And I was like, okay. But then we started talking, and now Keyshawn, one of my boys. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're going to run into some people, man, that kind of disappoint you in life, but then there are going to be people that surprise you. So I choose to think about the people who have actually given me more of a pleasant experience than I first thought, than the people who weren't so kind.
Love that.
Yeah.
And so how was your journey at ESPN?
That was emotional. So that was, there would be days I go in there, I'd be physically sick. even though I look at ESPN and I know I wouldn't be in the position I am right now without ESPN, I wouldn't have that name for myself. So I'm grateful, thankful for that. It gave me a platform. It put me on the national map for a lot of people to see. But I think there were so many things that I looked at that could have been there, that because of a lot of the atmosphere and the politics involved in working there, that it wouldn't allow me to grow. And I like to grow, and I feel like if I'm being any kind of thing that's kind of stunting my growth, I get mad at it. You know what I mean? Because I want to move forward. And I'm such like I was saying, I don't feel like I'm successful. I want to continue to move.
It felt like a glass ceiling.
I felt exactly like a glass ceiling. You know what it felt like? It felt like living in a mansion, this great mansion that is beautiful. You got all the amenities inside. You got your maid, you got your butler, you got people taking care of you. You don't have to worry for anything. The house is clean. It's a $15 million house and you're living inside, but you can never go outside. You can look out and look at the other people who live in the house and look at them play in the front yard and have a lot of fun and do a lot of the things that you want to do. But you are felt like in that, looking at that window that is serene, that has not one spot on it, and looking at what other people can do that you want to do. So even though I'm living there and I work for this company and it's great to work for this company, there were things that were, to me, in a sense, not fair, and to a lot of other people that weren't fair, where people, because they were favored, got to do that you didn't do. And but once again, me being there allowed me to have access to other things too. So I'm grateful for it.
Thank you for that transparency.
No problem.
I saw you work your way through those.
Yeah, man. It's
that experience to
it took me a long
convey.
time to get there, because I
Yeah.
was bitter for a long time after ESPN because of, like I said, for the same things. There are opportunities that I could have gotten in Hollywood from ESPN because of my name was growing or whatever, and they wouldn't let me do it, but they let other people do it. The same things I was trying to do. And I just didn't feel like it was fair. We were told as a group, like, hey, you know what? We're going to treat you guys fairly, but we're not going to treat you equally. They told us that.
Wow.
That's what told us that. And so once again, by the time it was time for me, my last year at ESPN, God was telling me it was time to move. God was telling me, and actually I just did a podcast with my girlfriend and we was talking about pivoting. And sometimes when it's time to pivot, God will put you in an uncomfortable situation. And I was uncomfortable. Even though it was ESPN, my exposure was raising. I was making decent money. And I just felt like I'm not growing, and I was frustrated. And Fox had just started saying they were going to hire people. And they brought me in, which I didn't even know was, I just happened to be in LA. My agent said, hey, why don't you meet with Fox? They're doing something different. They're doing something new. And just go over there and meet with them or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, I ain't never heard of Fox doing an FS1. And I had never heard of the cable network they were trying to build. And I said, okay, well, he said, yeah, be suited and booted. It's an interview. I'm like, interview? What's going on? So I go in, and when I tell you all the executives were excited to see me. And I'm at ESPN, and the executives, I remember was very vividly, there was a high up executive who was the president of the network. I'm on air. I've been on air for like 8-9 years. And he looked down. He didn't know my name. And I'm on air. I'm one of your anchors. And he didn't know my name. And he looked down at my name badge, and my first name is James. And on your name badge, it has your first name. He said, hey, James, how's it going? And I knew he didn't know who I was. So when I come to Fox, and all these, I'm talking about the president of the company and all the executives are in there, and like, Mike, hey, man, blah, blah, blah. And I still don't know what's going on. Hey, we're doing this. We got this new cable station. We want to compete with ESPN. We're going to do this. We're going to make sports fun again. We're going to do this. We need personality-driven people. We want people to be themselves. And I felt like I was being held back at ESPN. I felt like at one time I lost my voice. And it took me a while to get back because of some of the things I went through at ESPN. And they were telling me they want me to be me because I had a radio show. And on the radio show, I was really me. They said, we want that guy.
Wow.
And I'm like, I want to do that on television. And they said, you'll have an opportunity to do that here. Problem was, my contract wasn't nearly up at ESPN. I still had a year and a half on my contract. So when I tell you I went there in January of when did I get here? 2014?
Mm-hmm.
I went there in January 2014. From January 2014 until the day I left, I was physically sick going to ESPN because now I had something that I wanted to do, that I wanted to be with, that I couldn't do because of my contract.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sick. And I'm starting to see Fox hire people, and they wanted to hire me. They wanted me. They wanted to make me a face, and I couldn't go. And I'm telling my agent, I'm like, man, should I just break my contract or try? But if they say no, is ESPN gonna hold it against me and make it seem, oh, you're trying to leave and all that type of stuff like that? So this is how God works. This is how God works. January 2014, meet with Fox, physically sick. My contract's not up with ESPN until July of 2015. So once again, a year and a half of my contract. The reason why I didn't go and say anything, right? Or try and get out of the contract, try and go to Fox because my contract's not up. And I felt like if I tried that, then they was going to hold it against me or try and make my life more miserable. May of 2014, so 5 months after I meet with Fox and I'm physically sick going to work every day, I get a call from the talent department at ESPN. Hey, can you meet with the head of production tomorrow? Blah, blah, blah. We need to talk to you about something. Well, okay. Oh, it's odd. Just had a good review at ESPN. Everything's going swimmingly. As a matter of fact, there was this executive there that was like, hey, man, there's a possibility that I want you to front this show that's going to be in LA. So everything's going great. I'm not thinking anything's wrong at all. I'm like, wow. So, damn, are they going to talk to me about going to LA? I'm like, okay, well, that'll be better than being here because, like I'm miserable here. I just gone through a divorce and all that stuff too. So I go home and I call my agent. I'm like, hey, his name was Evan at the time. I said, Evan, they want to meet with me in production tomorrow. You have any idea what it's about? He's like, hold on, let me make a couple of phone calls. Makes a couple of phone calls. And he calls me back about 30 minutes later. He says, tomorrow's going to be your last day. What? He said, yeah, they're going to let you go. Like, what do you mean let me go? Like, yeah, they're firing you. Like, for what? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I just got a great review. Everything's, what do you mean firing me? What do you mean letting me go? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, my contract's not up. My contract's not up until July of next year. So I still got a year and 2 months left on my contract. What are you talking about? What's going on? He's like, yeah, I don't know. You get more details tomorrow. So, okay, fine. Fox had already basically hired all their people. They're about to launch their network in about a month. They had hired all their people. So I missed out. I felt I missed out on that opportunity. Man, I'm like, okay, what's happening? I'm thinking, did I say something online? Did somebody, what is that? I'm being accused. So I have no idea. So mentally, I'm going through it. That was the longest night of my life. I get up next morning. I go in and the talent person who I love to death, a lady named Lori Orlando, she was so sweet. She's like, Mike, I'm so sorry. But I'm like, what is going on, Lori? What's happening? She's like, it's just a decision. So I go in and I remember sitting with the head of production and he's like, well, things like this kind of happen. We have to make hard decisions and, you're doing a lot of radio, but you're not able to do a lot of television for us, whatever. And you're making this much money, all this type of stuff. So we're just going to let you go. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, how come y'all didn't tell me this months ago? Because I could have, if you made another move. He's like, well, we want to give you blah, blah, blah. He's like, I said, and I tell him I could have made another one. It's like, well, how come you didn't come to us? Then he asked me, how come you didn't come to us until you had this opportunity? I'm like, well, because my contract's up in a year and a half. I didn't think y'all was going to let me out of my contract. I'm like, my contract, I still got a year and a half left year and 2 months left on my contract. So I didn't think y'all was going to let me out to go to the competitor because everything was going well. Like, who does that? And it's like, and he's not even hearing me when I'm saying this. And he's like, yeah, things like this happen. And then eventually I keep saying like, wow, man, I still got a year and 2 months left on my contract's not up until 2015. And then finally he says, hey, you keep saying your contract's not up until 2015. What do you mean by that? And then that's when I first realized that they thought my contract was up in July of 2014. They made a mistake on the date. They thought they would let me go 2 months before my contract was up. They were letting me go a year and 2 months before my contract was up. And then I was like, yeah, my contract's not up for another year and 2 months. And then all of a sudden I start hearing paperwork. And they looking, the look on their faces is like, oh my gosh, they made this mistake, because now I got a guaranteed contract. So they got to pay me regardless if I work or not. And it's like, oh, I guess it's too late to change it. I'm like, no, I'm done. Now, once you tell me I'm done with you, I'm done. I'm not coming back. I said, okay, I walked out the door, my head held high. I told you all of this to tell you this. This is how God works. Right. Remember how I got that job 2 hours after getting out of the military? I told you Fox was hiring everybody and whatnot. I got on a plane the next day and went to LA, and I said, just get me a meeting with Fox. Went in there, talked to Fox. They gave me an audition on the spot, and they created a role for me at Fox. Wow. Even though they had hired all their people, it was going to be like, okay, you'll do this. You'll be the utility man because you're versatile. Because I had done every show at ESPN, and they hired me. So not only did I get money from ESPN that they owed me, because I didn't break my contract, right? I got money to take care of my daughter's college now. Like, her college is taken care of with the money I had to get. You know what I mean? Took care of my daughter's college, but now I get to go to my dream job. And I went through once again, that torture. That's why I tell people all the time, you know, sometimes you got to go through things to get where you want to go. And your burdens turn into your blessings if you learn the lesson. And I just waited on God. So once again, had I gotten out of that contract, or what if they would have come to me 3 months and Fox was still hiring and say, hey, you know, we're going to let you out of your contract or whatever, and I would just gone to Fox, I wouldn't gotten over $200,000 or whatever, almost $300,000, you know, just scot-free. Now, I had to work out a deal where I got money on the dollar to sign a contract with somebody else, but I got that money. You know what I'm saying? And that's how God works. So it worked out for my benefit. So what I thought was a detriment for me,
it was favor.
It was favor. It was favor. Wow. And that is the grace of God, man. And so when people ask me, I said, I know there's a God. Like you said, that's favor. Yeah. 2 hours after getting in the military, not knowing, that's favor. A day after getting fired from ESPN, getting to go do your dream job. Oh, plus let's give you this 6-figure severance package here for your journey in LA to get you started. That's favor.
It is.
So who am I to worry about anything in my life, as long as, once again, to bring it back around to the mental health aspect of everything, when it comes to my mental health, I am more in a great position of calmness because I know my God is good. I know that there is a God, and I know that he will always take care of me. And I know no matter what I'm going through, he will never put more on me than I can handle. I know that.
That testimony is powerful, huh?
Yeah, that's why you get tested. You gotta get tested to get that testimony.
Okay, we are going to wrap up soon, but I want to go through a fun round.
Okay.
All right. Before that, because sometimes we move through the conversation, I wanted to know, you know, about your current new, I don't know, is it new love? Your current
Yeah, I mean, we've been together for about a year. So I guess, is it still new, I guess? Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's good, man. It's really, it's enlightening. You're talking about equally yoked and kind of like aligned on a lot of ways. And we think a lot. We have a lot of fun. It's the most fun I've ever had in a relationship. The most fun. And I'm in my 50s. She's silly like me. We get along with each other for the most part. You know, we love each other. And it was quick. So our relationship, we meet on a Thursday and we're together on Monday. That's how quickly we jumped into it. Seriously. And I'm not a person that jumps into relationships like that, believe me. But I think when you get a certain age, you kind of know what you want, you know what you don't want.
You definitely know what you want.
I would say the problem with it is like we're still learning each other.
Definitely.
So as you grow and you're in a relationship, it's like, oh wow, this pops up because we jumped in it so early. So when it jumps up, okay, how do we deal with it? Fortunately, we've been able to deal with a lot of stuff, but we've hit, rocky patches. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I'm very forthcoming about that type of stuff like that. But luckily, our love has been strong enough to kind of overcome all that. At the end of the day, just want her to be happy. At the end of the day, I know she just wants me to be happy. And as long as there's peace, as long as there's joy, as long as there's growth, as long as there's
communication.
That's still things we're kind of working out sometimes. Communication, how to communicate and stuff like that. But we're figuring it out. So it's been a joy, and I'm happy and proud to be with her.
Okay, beautiful couple.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So let's do the fun round.
Okay.
Sports or therapy? You can only talk about one for the rest of your life.
Therapy.
If your life were a sports broadcast right now, what would the commentator be saying about this chapter?
Oh, wow.
In your voice.
Okay. In my commentator's voice?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's on the spot. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Oh, look at my man, Mike Hill. Boy, he's got the mindset. He's got the attitude. He's got the desire. He's got the passion, the growth to continue to be great at everything that he possibly can be. This is a man that has learned all of his lessons, that is still growing, that is still caring, but it ain't over yet. Watch and see what he has left for you in store. Just stick around. Stay tuned. Get your popcorn ready because it's coming your way.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, stay tuned. What is one thing your daughters have taught you that ESPN or any other production company or producer could ever?
Wow. How to listen. How to truly listen. Like I said, just listening and hearing them and not just what I want to hear or what I feel like is being said, but hearing their inside. So yeah. And I try to incorporate that with other people in my life now.
Okay.
That's a good question.
What song is on repeat when you need a reset mentally?
You Don't Know by Jay-Z.
Sing it.
You Don't Know. It's like I will not lose. Yep.
Okay.
That's my mentality. I will not lose. Yep.
If you could sit courtside with any three people, living or not, who are you bringing?
Ooh, courtside with three people, living or not. Oh, wow. One would be President Obama, because he's a sports fan, and I'm going to get some knowledge from him. The other, depending on what game we're going to, it would be, wow, that's a good question. I bring my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
I just want to be around my grandmother.
Oh,
I just miss my grandmother so much, man.
That's beautiful.
So if I could bring her back in any capacity, I don't care if it's, we can go skydiving. I just want to be around my grandmother, man. I miss her so much. And then, that's a really good question.
You get one more. Courtside.
So Obama, my grandmother, and since we're going to be young, I think maybe Spike Lee now, because I'm a Knicks fan.
Okay.
So I got to have somebody that's as big of a Knicks fan as I am. Yeah. So if I'm a Knicks guy, he's a Knicks guy. So yeah.
What is something people assume about you because of what they have seen on the screen that could not be more wrong?
Oh, that I'm super buttoned up. That I'm too serious.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you see me, like, people that see me on television, for the most part, they know that I like to have fun on television, but still, they just feel like, oh, he's a broadcaster. He's so super. Like, even now, like, I'm trying to act or whatever, and they still give me these roles about, like, being a teacher or a professor or a cop or somebody. Like, I want to play a thug, man. I'm like,
Not a thug.
Yeah, I want to play a thug.
I don't see thug, but that would be fun to watch.
I'm not a thug, but I got a little bit in me. Don't let the light skin fool you. You know what did Drake said? I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got a little bit of it in me. So like I am probably just as laid back and relaxed as anybody out there, man. I like to have fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
And Mike Hill in 3 words, but you cannot use the word broadcaster.
Okay. Compassionate, loving, and giving.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
What about a woman is an absolute deal breaker? No filter. First thing that comes to your mind.
Can't smoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cigarettes or anything?
Well, cigarettes. Yeah, you can smoke a little every now and then. Partake.
I'm just curious.
For medicinal purposes or whatever, together and all that stuff.
Cigarettes is a complete...
Yep, cigarettes.
No.
Yeah. If you smoke weed every day, I can't do that either. I just
Last one. You are a veteran, an Emmy winner, a best-selling author, a father, a husband previously.
Mm-hmm.
And what is a thing that you still want to do that nobody knows about you?
Accomplish?
Is it acting?
Nah,
or people know that? Okay.
Yeah, I've been in several things, acting, stand-up. Oh, what is it? One thing I want to do that people don't know about. I want to own a community center for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to build a community center in honor of my grandmother. So I want to go back to Alabama, to Bessemer, and I want to go buy my old block, the entire block, and I want to build a community center for kids to go to learn, not basketball and sports and all that type of stuff like that, but going there to a learning center for like STEM and things like that, skills, how to be a broadcaster.
That's nice.
There could be some sports elements to it, but yeah, more so a safe space for them to go to understand that even though you came from this environment doesn't have to hold you, or you can do something to make this environment better.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you for playing the fun round.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
So we're wrapping up. I want you to look at the camera and tell people that you're on Unboxed and Fearless with Dr. Natasha. And, they can tune in, catch the episode, whatever it is that you feel comfortable saying.
Okay. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Mike Hill, broadcaster, comedian. Do it all. You are watching Unboxed and... Okay, I'm sorry. Unboxed and Fearless. Okay. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mike Hill, broadcaster extraordinaire, stand-up actor. Do it all out here. I'm rocking with Unboxed and Fearless with Dr. Natasha, and I had such a great time. Make sure you check it out. Not just me, but check out all the episodes because she got something to say. And she gonna make some people cry. She almost tried to make me cry, but I held on. I had some thug tears, but I held on. Watch it. Check it out.
I didn't mean to laugh through your segment. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
The conversation was amazing. I'm so happy that you're at this point in life and on your journey that you've really just had so much self-love, self-awareness, reflection, and you're healing.
Yes.
So that's a beautiful journey. But not only to discuss your journey, but your authenticity, your transparency, and the fact that you could possibly help someone that's watching this episode. And even if we can touch just one person's life, prevent one suicide, that's our purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for what you're doing.
So until next time, catch us on Unboxed and Fearless.